Most people believe the Holy Grail is a sacred cup, a holy object hidden somewhere in Europe, guarded by secret orders, sought by knights, protected by ancient bloodlines. But what if I told you there was never a Grail to find? Not because it was lost, not because it was hidden, but because the object itself was invented. The story begins not in Jerusalem, not in the time of Jesus, but in medieval France. Around the year 1180, a poet named Chrétien de Troyes wrote a story about a mysterious object carried in a glowing procession. He didn't call it holy, he didn't say it was a cup, he didn't even explain what it was. It was simply a Graal, a serving dish, a strange object in a fictional knightly tale. And yet, this vague idea exploded. Other writers copied the story. They added Christian meaning. They turned the object into the cup from the Last Supper. Suddenly, the Grail became sacred. Suddenly, it became something to die for. And this is where the obsession begins. Europe was starving. Wars were constant. Plagues came and went. People needed hope. So the Grail became a promise, a symbol that purity would be rewarded, that the faithful would be chosen, that suffering had meaning. Kings used the legend to justify power. Church leaders used it to inspire devotion. Knights used it to frame violence as holy duty. The Grail wasn't just a story. It became propaganda wrapped in myth. Then something strange happened. People started looking for it, not as a metaphor, but as a real object hidden in the world. Templars, monks, secret orders, all later accused of guarding the Grail. No evidence, no records, just stories stacked on stories. And centuries later, modern culture poured gasoline on the fire. Novels claimed the Grail wasn't a cup, but a bloodline. Movies suggested it could grant eternal life. Conspiracy theories said the Vatican was hiding it. The legend kept mutating because the object itself was empty. There was nothing to disprove. Now here's the emotional twist. The Holy Grail never existed as an artifact, but it absolutely existed as a psychological weapon. It gave people meaning in chaos. It gave warriors a story that made killing feel sacred. It gave rulers a divine excuse for power. It gave believers a dream that suffering wasn't pointless. The Grail didn't change history because it was real. It changed history because people needed it to be real. And that's the uncomfortable truth. Humans don't need facts to build empires. They need stories that feel true. The Grail was never found because it was never lost. It was created inside the human mind. And maybe that's the most dangerous relic of all. Because even today, we still chase modern grails, hidden truths, secret elites, objects that promise meaning in a confusing world. The Holy Grail wasn't a cup, it was a mirror. And when people looked into it, they saw exactly what they wanted to believe.